C'est du rythme. Toutes les choses, c'est du rythme.
We all have a lot of unlearning to do. I was always taught to walk before I could run. Mother would say, Yankai, you must swallow night before you birth the sun. But what if you were born without breath? What if your lungs were fatigued before you could even breathe? Think about how many times you've had to hit that ground running. How many times have you woke up and your thoughts were already humming the anthem of a nation that gave birth to Olympic sprinters? On equators, we held winters on our tongues. I was always taught to crawl before I could walk, but I was never born on my knees, no. I was born running into this league, surrounded with a thick history of excellence and pain. See the elegance carved into this frame, baby. I was born into a world mixed with suffering and intelligence. I have battled with tradition versus ignorance and pitted my decisions with zero vigilance because I was never born with your father's eyes, but his cries have long watered me from deep inside the womb. Like a cocoon, we emerge only to feast on our own crop. I was born with tears for raindrops, so we could never stop for rainbows. And did you know civilization already existed long before there was even a word for it in English, way before 1722, because we used it too. That exact same word, except we spelt it Kush. That exact same verb, except we spelt it Moors. Our core sits in the center of this man-made world, surrounded by fog, with bated breath that's unaware of which chest their treasures have been buried in. I was never called in to this world in my mother's arms. Her palms became too small for the destinies with which it could hold. Have you ever seen an angel giving birth? Have you ever known a continent to have more heart than it does earth? If this earth was never flat, I wonder, why do we continue to draw rainbows wrong our entire lives? I wonder, is it because we thrive on the fact that we can only see half of the picture? Our scripture has always been a pot of gold from the beginning, not the end. We are not a trend, so surely that arch in time must come full circle. And we will finally unite underneath the same umbrella so that we can shield generations from the storms that we have weathered. I am tethered to a dynasty that can never be reconstructed. I am a product of Dr. Kunijo Guado Ayoke Kwawang and Mrs. Maria Nyadok Awang, both beautiful beings hailing from the lineage of the Upper Nile states of South Sudan. I was born in Khartoum, migrating in wombs as we traveled from south to north to the west. But with every step, with every breath, your stale smell of death would always decompose in the marrow of our indigenous bones and never in your own. Men, women, slaughtered, systemic ethnic cleansing through the rapes of mothers, wives, daughters, refugee camps. They still litter the face of this earth like flies on hungry brows. It's ironic how the spirit of a people killed in ice-cold blood can flow through me like lava, flow through these trauma-filled eyes, whilst your eyes and your silence cries praises. Praises of schools that you've built that don't reach us, infrastructure that can't teach us, a brilliant modern world rich with technology, healthcare systems, and medicine. Medicine that combats the side effects of illegal trials on our melanin. Thank God that you gave us the gift of education. The restoration of women's rights, because when you sent our men off to fight and took us out of the home, at least you left us with some tools to survive on our own. We are no longer savages dressed in the leaves that nature handed to us. No, we are now dressed in hand-me-downs from charities and capitalist surplus. Thank you. You brought us development and agriculture. You sold us an advanced and refined land that no longer belongs to us. For a long time, I didn't know where I belonged. I just wanted to go home. But if home is truly where the heart is, then I am but a homeless man begging for change. Right here, right now, on this stage, my heart lays hollowed out like an empty hat, waiting for you to put your 2 cents in this skin layered with daily dirt. My heart, it hurts. If home is truly where the heart is, then this house is surely built on chapped lips that exhale nothing more than dry dreams that taste like fallen fantasies. And every day I ingest these violent canapes riddled in a civil war that tore through every thin lining of hope and tongue-tied the intestines of this place that I call home, called my baby, called my own. If home is truly where the heart is that I carry in my womb, it was only allowed to gestate for 730 days before rebirthing this premature nation of displaced children with casket wooden fathers. There is nothing harder than a mother forced to bury her own kin. There is no martyr that can justify the killings that they've carved into the hieroglyphics of this history. You told me, you swore that you would protect, but in retrospect, where were you when the rebels came around? Where were you when the militia burnt down my mother's town? What about these ashy gums that bleed on thick soil when those faces hit the ground of this place that I call home? If this home is truly where the heart is, then I stand here before you in vain, begging for change. Right here, right now, on this stage, how do we change this wine back into water? How can I breathe in your laughter and make smiles from your footsteps? Dear ancestors, I want to walk in your footsteps, but have you ever seen a rose bleed to death from its own thorns? I want to reconnect, but how do I connect to you if you're in this 5th dimension that's made of broken liquids? How can I make my arms long enough to hug all 4 corners of your commitments and commit if no one can admit to blame? If no one can admit that we all have a lot of unlearning to do. See, there are some things that just can't be taught. Is the rain ever told to be something that it's not? Is the wind ever told, could you maybe smile more or blow with a little more energy? Is intensity ever asked of the clouds? I know this world can get loud, and your life lessons will continue to overfill your lungs. But remember, when dreaming of drowning, Your inhale is all you have, but I will meet you on the exhale. Let's create an expressway. If I ride, will you promise to meet me on the other side?
Used to cut so much cost from my skin irritate. Got a bout on the block from my uncle's ache. Couldn't be in vain that our moms migrate. Anyway, I feed them make that meal on plate. Cause we came from scratch. What's in the pouch does more than scratch. I don't wanna do you like that, so please don't make man do you like that. Take everything, he's got colonization. I can't trust my man, so I'll just sneak him. 14 first time the pigs raiding. Ever since then I stopped eating bacon. Stopped chasing the back when I turned into one. Area boy we can't fear no one. Done the dirt no face like M1 too. Done the dirt no face like M1 too.
I was an alpha male till we stamped him. This a life I came from, I ain't promoting. Mom still telling me to get back.